This bush was a one stem bush last year, and then we planted it in a midden like this, and it became that big in 1 year. Why? Let's find out. And then I had to tell her. As you possibly know, modern agriculture is causing earth erosion. It's using fertilizers. It is creating monoculture, and ultimately it is turning our fertile lands into a desert. The ecological farming is just a tad better. Ecological farming means that you get better food that is more healthy for you, but it is not much better in relation to the detrimental effect ecological farming has on the environment. Sorry. If you wish to revive nature, to restore nature, to stop the desertification of the land of Europe, you have to do something else. And what we are trying to do here on our property is to use permaculture. We do that by trying to create an edible forest on what used to be a pasture for, I think, sheep. And of course, there was nothing here. And we have like this much soil most of the places, and underneath we have just bare rock. So I have accelerated the process by building middens like this, and also by dropping or placing rotten or semi-rotten wood all over, as much of the property as I could, because that would sort of like accelerate the process by maybe up to 100 years, because otherwise I would have to let these trees grow and then fall naturally, and I don't have the time for that. As I'm doing it now, I'm already doing it not for me, not even for my children, but probably for my grandchildren. This place is not going to be rejuvenated until my grandchildren are, maybe adults even. And what happens when you plant one of these bushes, for example? The first thing you need to plant is trees, but I used this bush as an example. But what happens when you plant this bush in a, like in a normal level ground, is that it does not get enough oxygen, and it doesn't grow as fast. If you plant it in a midden like this, a midden made by different rotten materials, wood, some green materials, and of course soil, is that you accelerate the growth of the plant by about 30%, which is a lot actually. So this was a tiny one stem bush for about 1 year ago, and now look at it, it's already growing into a big bush. Of course, we don't use pesticides or anything like that, and instead we plant a little bit here and there, because if you have a monoculture, all the pests will smell the plant that they want to eat. So if you plant a lot of strawberries, the pests that eat or destroy strawberry plants will smell it, and they will come en masse. And if they eat one plant, sorry, and when they have eaten one plant, they can just continue on to the next until they have eaten everything. But if you plant a little bit here and there, as is the case in nature, you will experience that the scent of the different plants is camouflaging each other. So a pest, for example, who wants to eat this strawberry plant will not notice it, because it smells like something else here. And if it does find the plant, of course sometimes the pests do find the plants, then it will eat this plant, but there are no other strawberry plants in this area, so it will only eat that plant and then, continue on. Another thing that this diversity, I hate that word, but the diversity does, is to enable you to use the soil indefinitely. You don't have to like plant something here 1 year and then let the area rest for 1 year and then plant another thing and so forth. No, you can just plant whatever you like and keep it going continuously. Because some of the plants are adding something to the soil and other plants are, you know, taking it from the soil. And this balances itself when you have a lot of diversity in one area. If you have a monoculture, as is necessary for modern agriculture, you take all these things out from the soil and add nothing, because you have only one plant, and this one plant does this or that to the soil. So it's turning the soil into a desert. And then you have to add fertilizers and add, what's it called? Chaux in French. Calc, I don't remember the name in English, I put up the text here. And ultimately you will have destroyed the entire soil. And also what modern agriculture does is to use tractors, and they have to use tractors, and they plow the fields, and what this does to the soil is to of course cause earth erosion, which is terrible. For example, Australia and America are going down the drain because of this. But it's not only causing earth erosion, it's also destroying all the fungi in the soil. And fungi is what distributes the nutrients in the soil to the different plants. And it's almost like a communication network and a transport network for plants. The largest living entity is actually a fungus, which it's like tens of tons heavy and covering a huge area. And if I, for example, drop a dead animal here and there's fungi in the soil, the fungi will transport the nutrients from the dead animal out to a large area. Modern agriculture, plowing the fields, they destroy the fungi, and there's nothing, no transportation, and then also the fungi also keeps the moisture in the ground. In modern agriculture, you have to water the fields most of the time. Sorry. What else? Plowing the fields also kills the earthworms, which are very necessary to add, like, for example, to add air into the soil. It kills the rodents. It kills everything. And of course, when you kill everything in the soil, year after year after year, what you have left then is a desert. And therefore, the productivity of modern agriculture was extremely high in the beginning, and it has gone downhill ever since. And today, with a tractor, with everything that is modern, all the high-tech stuff that we have today, when you have an area, you still get less produce than you would in using the technology of the Middle Ages in the Middle Ages. Of course, if you use the technology of the Middle Ages today, it doesn't help, because the soil is already a desert. But the point is that the modern agriculture has destroyed the soil, and it's destroying the food produce. In modern agriculture, they use pesticides to remove weeds, but in permaculture there are no weeds. Every plant has a function, every plant serves a purpose, and every plant here is good. We are Europeans, and we have light skin, and we have light skin because we are meant to live in forests. And I believe that we should return Europe into a large edible forest using permaculture.